in one of our country's most picturesque getaways.
Yeah, the Weather Channel is certainly going to try to put these into perspective as many of you are planning the rest of your day.
All right, so we're going to take you into what we can expect today and in terms of the weather conditions. Now, the wind was a big story and big part of this disaster. The high wind alerts, though, that were up when the fires started, they have gone away. Strong breezes are always a concern here, but the big excessive wind, thankfully, is done.
Yeah, and the weather conditions should be improving. There were a lot of factors that went into this disaster, unfortunately, and we're just uncovering a lot of them now. Some of them have to do with the vegetation. I mean, we were talking about that earlier. But the good news is, I think, overall, the atmosphere is going to be a bit more moist and the winds a little bit weaker than they have been. So there's good news weather-wise on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to get you catch you up here with what we know at this hour. Right, vacation now turned into a war zone as the raging wildfires scorched the Hawaii island of Maui.
And right now, firefighters are working to get several hot spots under control.
Meteorologist Jordan Steele shows us what families are up against in their neighborhoods and how travelers made it out just in time. It's devastating. It's frightening. And still, we are dealing with a situation here that we need some help from Mother Nature on. Now, wind-wise, we will get that. So as part of the story is we've had this big, sprawling high pressure, the very strong winds associated with the pressure gradient that in part was up because of Dora. Far away, no big impacts to the island from Dora itself here, but a little bit of a perturbation in that pressure field did make a difference and help draw in some of those stronger winds. Right now, the winds here are what you would typically expect, anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour here in the morning hours. They do, often will ramp up through the afternoon, but not to the extent like we just saw in the past 48 hours. I mean, you see some of these peak wind gusts, the Big Island, more than 80 miles per hour on Maui. In Kihei, we had 62 mile per hour winds in the west side of the island. Why the flames were able to fan so rapidly. Now, the drought, the new drought monitor came out today. It's expanded even more. We've got 80% of all of the island chain in some form of drought. And so that's a concern as you just think about the conditions out there. There's outages here, Maui, Molokai, Lanai. We've got 11,000 customers without power, and we are going to be watching the weather closely. You see the general flow, the trade winds. I mean, that's what brings us our moisture across this area. We don't even see much in the way of clouds right now. You can see the smoke from a satellite perspective here, but we will hopefully get some moisture in the coming days. Now, I just want to leave it and show you this, the before and after on Front Street here in Lahaina. You can see the before and then the after. Just so devastating here. I know this is a very historical place, a place that means a lot to so many people, and we'll continue to bring you stories. The Weather Channel will bring you live coverage from Hawaii this afternoon. Boston, let's go and start in your area where we're off to a beautiful start to the day. I'm virtually standing in the Boston Common where sunshine peeking through the clouds and the trees, but the sunshine will not last all that long because we've got some drenching downpours on the move. We'll be in this area. A flood watch goes into effect tonight for the Boston area. And severe weather is a possibility as well. Let's take a look at that forecast to give you a sense of the timing. So it doesn't really begin until afternoon. We're talking about 4 o'clock-ish here. Could be thunderstorms. Again, could be some severe weather. I'll talk more about that risk. But we see that off and on chance of storms and showers coming in through the entire evening. And some of it could be heavy at times. We have rain right now from parts of west central New York, stretching down through central Pennsylvania, including around State College and at Penn State. Some of the rain has been heavier at times along the New York State Thruway, heading right towards Syracuse right now. Now, as we get later today, Alex talked about that risk for severe weather down through the mid-Atlantic here. It does extend all the way up here through the eastern end of Long Island and southeastern Massachusetts, where we could see a few thunderstorms go severe, and there is a tornado risk that goes with it. It's a 2 on the Torcon, and so we've got that chance. I know in communities like Barnstable, after the tornado that we had on Tuesday, this is certainly the last risk that you want to see, but we are worried about that, so I want to make sure that you are on guard for that potential. And then also the flooding. We have heavy rain potential coming in across this zone. The flood watch goes in through the afternoon, starting the afternoon through the evening. Rainfall comes in, you see, about 4 o'clock-ish, spreading over the area. New York City, New Haven, we've got rain coming in, continues through tonight. This is 11 o'clock, and the rain is now coming down, especially into southeastern New England right here, where we get hit with some of the more persistent showers that have that bigger rainfall potential. So watching for that to have all the impacts, the travel impacts, and of course, the activity impacts. The Red Sox are home, hosting the Royals. We've got rain in the forecast here. We'll see if, at the very least, the tarp will have to come out, but it might have to do some postponing here. Greg.
Again, the northern
phenomenon has been going on since April, and now we are seeing it expand.
More coastlines will be in jeopardy. Dr. Derek Manzello.
Thank you so much, Dr. Derek Manzello, director there for NOAA's Coral Reef Watch. We appreciate you joining us and giving us the status and the latest here on the coral reef situation. Well, we got ways to sustain the beaches. That's just one of the topics our climate unit pattern dives into each day. Here is what is roaring ashore at noon.